What is going on, Tan and J Man Show Nation? It is Monday night, April 27th. You're listening or watching the episode of the Tan and J Man Show. And if you're listening or watching, you probably don't realize, or you're probably realizing this is not the Tan or the J Man on this show today. Filling in, reaching into the deep into the bullpen, at least for me, anyways. I'll be your co host tonight, Evan Webb. And obviously, we've got Mr. Arik Lee, a regular on the show at this point. How's it going tonight, Arik?
It's going well, Evan. Yourself?
I guess we'll see here how this show goes.
Well, they've run the JV now for 8 years. They finally got to the varsity.
Finally, yeah. So as we were talking offline right before we started, it's like, usually if I have to be on the show, usually my bread and butter is between about, I'd say November to April, beginning of April anyways. And it's always whenever I'm on the show to help out, it's always April to about August when I know the least about what's going on in the sports world. So we'll see how this show goes.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Yeah. But before we get into it, I want to make sure everyone knows that the Tan Jamin Show is brought to you by Dreddy's Place and Arlington Public House. Dreddy's Place, small town vibe, big time flavor. Dreddy's Place serves up fresh breakfast and lunch favorites that keep you coming back for more. Located at 701 Main Street in Rochester. Arlington Public House, upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere. Located at 703 Main Street in Rochester. And I was trying to find their, of course I lost it here, but their weekend specials. When's the last time you were able to make a trip over there, Arik?
Oh, it's been a couple weeks ago. We eat lunch in at Giretti's a lot.
Yeah.
But we are going this Friday. I think it was a party of 28 people. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really a party. Yeah.
I hope I get served first. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, on their Facebook, looks like they've got a new weekend special, which is the Marry Me Chicken Pasta, which is described as a creamy, rich, and full of flavor tender chicken tossed in a garlic parmesan cream sauce with sun-dried tomatoes, all served over perfectly cooked pasta. They've never had this one before, and trust them, it's a must-try. It's the kind of dish that keeps you coming back for another bite and maybe even another order. They're open from 4 p.m. and come in and order online.
Yeah, might try that.
Yeah. Well, there has been a lot. Obviously, they didn't have a show last week, but there's been quite a few things that have happened in the sports world. Most notably, just this last weekend was the 2026 NFL draft, which I don't know about you. I don't know if it was maybe just because there wasn't any Purdue guys that were expected to be drafted, or that the fact that for my team, the Bears, they didn't have a top 10 pick, it felt like. So I was pretty checked out of the draft. I kind of forgot it was even happening until about Thursday after it started.
Right.
And I was able to I timed it pretty perfectly where I turned on the TV right when the Bears were getting ready to pick. But obviously for the state, it was pretty big where Fernando Mendoza was, there was really no surprise him going number one out of IU to really cap off just another unbelievable year that he and the program down in Bloomington had. Going to the Raiders. But it just felt like outside of that, there wasn't the best draft. I don't know what your thoughts were going into.
Yeah, depending who you listen to, they're saying there were probably 16 to 18 players that had first round potential.
Yeah.
So they thought it was a somewhat deep draft, but not a lot of star potential. Universally, it seems like the number one guy, not the number one position, that's obviously quarterback, but the number one guy was this Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. And we unfortunately got to watch him play 3 or 4 times, and his backup would always run 100-yard kickoff, and he got drafted in the first round. So, if you're a running back in high school right now, you're probably thinking, I need to go to Notre Dame.
It was actually funny because when I turned on the draft, was right when the Bears picked. Then shortly after that was when Omar Cooper, from Indiana, got picked to the Jets. And right when I turned it on, or when I had it on, they showed a highlight of him against Purdue. And my wife, an IU grad, kind of joked to me saying, "Oh, there's Purdue. They made a highlight. Like it might be the only time they make the highlight." And I was like, "Actually, they may have the most highlights out of any team out of the draft because so many people had so many good games against them over the last couple of years."
Well, I looked at today. Out of the 32 first rounders, Purdue played 11 of them.
Wow.
So might be very much the reason why a lot of these kids are in the first round. They played the Boilers this year. So, and one of them, Thieneman, who got drafted by the Bears, of course, he did play at Purdue. He was great as a freshman. I thought he was pretty mediocre as a sophomore.
I would agree.
And then he went to Oregon and obviously tested off the charts at the combine. Yeah. Very fast jumps. I have a good friend of mine that was a basketball coach at the high school he attended, and he actually coached his two brothers in basketball who played for Purdue. And was just telling me what a workout fiend this kid was. He was a good basketball player, but didn't want to, quote unquote, waste his time because he knew he was going to be an NFL football player, and that was his dream, and he made it come true.
Yeah. So he was a kid that when he committed to Purdue, obviously we knew the family as a Purdue fan. But then there was he committed under Braum.
Yeah.
And then obviously Braum leaves for Louisville, and in comes Ryan Walters, and like Ryan started bringing in a bunch of these, portal guys and transfer guys. And I thought, like, man, I'm not even sure this kid's even gonna see the field. I mean, like, there are thoughts of him coaching as a freshman, but he was definitely the better out of his three brothers, or out of his two other brothers. Only one to really get a scholarship at a high school. And lo and behold, he starts from the get-go and described as the fastest kid on the field, and he showed it. We broke Purdue's interception record for a freshman. Was it a freshman or just a season record?
It was a freshman record of 6, I believe.
Yep, was a third-team All-American as a freshman. Led the team in interceptions that year, and then like I said, had a pretty mediocre sophomore year.
Yeah.
Just obviously the team was way worse than they were the year before, but even then, like when he would on the field, like I feel like he got run over a ton by opposing running backs or receivers, and but then obviously he goes to Oregon as a first-team All-American, which I didn't even realize he was a first-team All-American. I just wasn't paying attention to him all that much, but I never felt like I was hearing about him like you would some of these other guys, especially at Ohio State. But yeah, the Bears wanted speed on their defense, and they sure as heck got it.
Yeah, and I think he returned punts a little bit as a freshman. He might be.
Yes, he did.
I doubt if the Bears would use him in that capacity. I'm sure they have somebody else to do that.
Yeah, they drafted another kid. I'm blanking on his name, but they drafted a kid in the early rounds that supposedly was going to be a kickoff specialist or return specialist. But in the first round was dominated for the first time since I think 2016 by the Big Ten. At least not a non-SEC conference.
Right.
But then it felt like after, so definitely, I think it definitely showed that the Big Ten had the top-heavy talent, but the SEC dominated from then on out, I think, from a total draft standpoint.
They did.
Which isn't totally uncommon.
Well, I think the Big Ten had 10 of the 32, and I wrote down the SEC had 7, Big 12 6, and ACC 6. So looking at it that way, 29 of the 32 kids picked in the first round were in the four major conferences. And then, of course, Notre Dame had 2. So that's 31. And there was a kid from San Diego State. So,
I thought that was just kind of a broader conversation of, like, I think just even the whole draft in general, like showing the amount of kids that weren't drafted from non-Power 5 schools, or even lower than that, just showing what the portal's done to some of these schools to where they just don't have the top end talent like they used to have.
Well, if you're a good football player and that you don't get picked by one of these Power 4 schools, you go to a little bit smaller level, and the next thing you know, you go up. Same things happen in basketball too. So it's differentiating the Joes and the pros. That's for sure.
Right. Who were some of your? I guess, I mean, it's so hard to tell at this point, but I guess, like, just from a 30,000 foot view, winners and losers of the draft, or even just maybe just the winners from a team standpoint.
Well, it's easy to always call the winners the teams that end up getting 3 first rounders or 2, but it looked just from a guy who watches football, but like the Giants and the Cowboys did real well. Browns and Jets seem to do well, but those two organizations seem to always do well on draft day, and then it all goes to pot. So who knows?
Yeah, they're so dysfunctional.
Right. And then it always seems like Buffalo and San Francisco always trade down. But yet both those teams are always right there. So I don't when you have the 28th pick, if you don't think because you have to pay these first rounders, first round money.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I was hearing today, this Jeremiah Love is guaranteed $52 million over the next 4 years, which already makes him the highest paid running back.
I did
football.
see that. Yeah. Which is crazy.
So
Kenneth Walker just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, do you want to spend that much money on a running back? If he is the best player in the draft, it makes sense. Now, last year we saw the Raiders take this Genty kid from Boise State, had no line, no quarterback, and had no room.
Yeah.
And right now Jacoby Brissett is the Cardinals quarterback as of this minute.
Right.
I think Gardner Minshew's his backup, and we've all seen Gardner play too. I mean, he's a good. They're both good backups.
Yeah.
So now Cardinals do have, Marvin Harrison Jr. sitting out there, and then they got a great tight end. So maybe they're building something. We'll have to see, but he's still going to need a line. But those are the teams I kind of thought won. I thought the Bears did okay. I've been hearing mixed reviews on them. They got a center from Iowa, and if you're going to get a center from anywhere, you go get Iowa linemen.
Yeah. Yeah, coming into the draft, the biggest thing I was always reading just from Bears beat writers or bloggers or podcasters was like, do the trenches or what's needed, and then just really any defense, just because their defense last year, if they weren't causing turnovers, they were pretty pedestrian is probably being generous. And so obviously they got Thieneman off the get-go, which is great for the safety for the backfield. You got the lineman you got the center from Iowa. Then they took a tight end in the third round, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
especially because he's not a receiving tight end typically. He's a blocking tight end, which I guess they play. I think they played 12 personnel more than anybody in the NFL last year, or at least one of the teams that played the most. And so obviously when you're playing two tight ends, you need someone to spell one of them, but that was a head scratcher for me. And one of the things people kept saying that he was an edge rusher, and they didn't really take a edge rusher until late in the draft. So not someone you think that he'll be a day one impact guy. But I mean, I guess in year one of Ben Johnson, I think he earned a little leeway. So I guess we'll see what happens.
I did hear a guy today. It was Matt Hasselbeck, who was a quarterback in the NFL for 18 years, and they asked him who they thought would be the surprise, pick in the NFL draft, and he said that kid that tight end that the Bears got.
Okay.
He said he's, Andrew Luck just raves over him, and it didn't seem like a position of need since they have the Loveland and Kmet.
Yeah.
But Hasselbeck said he thinks the Bears would go to the 13 personnel more.
Oh, okay.
And so who knows? I'd never heard of him.
Me neither.
So Stanford games start at 10 o'clock on TV or whatever. So, The
interesting tidbit I saw about the Bears was that they were the only team between 2019 and 2025 to not take a defensive player in the first round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in 2019 they didn't have a first round. They didn't have a second round pick because that was from the Khalil Mack trade. But they took David Montgomery in the third round. 2020 they had no first round pick, but they took Cole Kmet in the second round. 2021 they took Justin Fields at pick 11. 2022 they didn't have a first rounder, but they did take Kyler Gordon in the second round, so as a defensive player, but it's not in the first round. 2023 they took Darnell Wright, a lineman, at pick 10. 2024 was obviously Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze, and then last year was Colston Loveland. So, and then this year finally they got Dylan Thieneman. So
and they have hit on a few of those. Obviously, Justin Fields one they probably wish they had back, but
what do you think of the Colts draft?
Well, I was kind of looking at that today too, and quite frankly, I hadn't heard of many of them. They got a linebacker from Georgia in the second round, is C.J. Allen, and of course, then they got Deion Burke from Oklahoma, who was a Purdue player, but he seemed to have stone hands at Purdue. Yeah, but I remember his second game at Oklahoma, he scored 4 touchdowns. There you go, but. So we'll see if, usually if you're drafted, you almost always make the team, but seventh round, is obviously the one where you might not, but
and then obviously the Hoosiers had a heck of a day or a heck of a draft from obviously their best season ever. I think they had 8 guys drafted.
7 or 8.
Yeah, 2 in the first day. with Mendoza and Omar Cooper, and then Elijah Surratt get drafted. They had the Jets took two guys. They took Omar and then D'Angelo Ponce.
Right. The one stretch they thought was the running back. I think his name's Black or whatever went in the third round to the 49ers. But I also heard Hasselbeck say that he was also regarded as the best pass blocking running back in the draft.
Yeah, I could see it. He's a truck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, IU could run. They could run the ball, every time first down, it'd be 2nd and 4. And it was him. And then, he obviously had a great line. So that was a big key to their season. They had two good running backs and a really good line. And in the receiving core was outstanding. The Becker kid's coming back, and he probably will be a first rounder next year.
Oh, easily. Yeah, at least if he puts the production he did in the back half of this last season, for sure.
I saw a mock draft today. It had him 18th or 19th overall. Wow. So
yeah, I believe it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to say all that stuff. So, actually, Iowa and Washington both had 6 and 7 guys drafted. So I would never guess that. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Because Washington had a pretty mediocre year. Iowa's always 8 and 4. So that's just Iowa. So.
And then I saw that I believe now every single starter from Ohio State's championship team from 2 years ago has now been drafted.
Except for Smith, their best one of the bunch, he has to play another year of college.
Sorry, defense. On their defense.
Oh, defense, yeah.
The entire starting defense from 2 years ago has been drafted, I'm pretty sure.
I think, after watching the college football playoff and then watching the early rounds of the NFL draft, I think you can easily say Indiana, Ohio State, Miami, and Notre Dame were the best 4 teams in the country last year. Notre Dame didn't make it because they lost, their first 2 games. But the Ohio State have 4 of the first 11 kids drafted. That's ridiculous. And
I think they're trying to be the first and never had 4 and 10, but they missed it by a pick.
And people couldn't believe Downs dropped to 11th. They had them slotted like a 7. So
yeah, the rich just get richer. It feels like.
They do. They really do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And actually, my trivia question is NFL draft related. It's kind of a couple parts. Let's see if I can get back to where I had it. Can you name me the NFL draft class that has produced the most Hall of Famers?
What year the draft class was?
What year all those players got drafted? Yes.
Okay. Well, we know it's not in the last 5 years because they're not eligible yet.
Yep.
I have a guess right off, but that's probably not right. So, okay.
Yeah, I think it's according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame website. I believe it's 10 players. Yeah, according to the website, it's 10 players were drafted.
One clue. Were you born yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I was not.
So you want me to give that at the end of the show then?
We can do that. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Or if you want to do it right now, my original, I got one original guess here.
Okay.
And it's just because of the quarterbacks, but my first thought was 1983 because Elway, Marino, Kelly, but I don't know how the rest of the, that's probably not it because you're not saying, that's it.
That is incorrect. Yes. That is incorrect. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see if you'll let you chew on
Give
it.
me a little time. I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the draft?
No, I didn't. I like you. I didn't pay a great deal of attention. So
yeah.
And there wasn't the big quarterback. A lot of them were wondering about this Ty Simpson from Alabama being drafted in the first round. Yeah. Great situation for him. He gets to sit for a year or two behind Stafford.
Yeah.
But Stafford is probably like, why didn't you go get me one guy? We're this close to going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Get me that one guy.
Yeah. And it seemed like even McVay wasn't, at least his reaction, it seemed like he was super thrilled with the
with
the pick, but we'll see.
Yeah. they were so close to going last year.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine. If they have Puka Nakua back, he catches everything. So
yeah, outside of really Mendoza, the quarterback class was pretty
mundane.
Who was it? Say Tim Simpson went, and then you had Klubnik from Clemson was drafted. Obviously, you had the kid from LSU went late. He was a Heisman hopeful coming into the year, and injury hurt that. But
Drew Aller from Penn State went to the Steelers.
Yeah,
but and then there's a running quarterback. I think his last name's Green from Arkansas. Went in like the 6th round.
Yeah, you're right.
There wasn't much, and next year's supposed to be pretty loaded.
Yeah, you got Arch Manning.
Yeah, Brian Brown.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So it's loaded.
Yeah. You've been watching much of the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I mean they have 3 or 4 games on every night. I pay attention. The Pistons are a little bit in trouble. I mean, they're a number 1 seed and they're down 2-1.
Yep, on the road again tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And Orlando was supposedly going to be, a 3-4 type seed this year, and they were injured all year. So now they're finally healthy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm shocked at how good a pro Franz Wagner was. I was not that impressed with him at Michigan, but he's turned into be a really nice pro.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. Obviously, if you look at it, San Antonio and Oklahoma City might be dominating the NBA for the next 7 or 8 years, and they're both very young.
Mm-hmm.
And Oklahoma City gets another first-round draft pick this year based off a lottery pick, based off a trade with the Clippers from years ago, I think. And San Antonio, they've got that 7'5" monster in the middle, blocks every shot, and he gets every call too. He's already getting the superstar treatment.
I haven't watched much of the NBA just period, but I was watching a little bit of their game yesterday. And I just haven't just paid attention mostly because I'm just so locked into college basketball during basketball season. But just Wembanyama's skill set is unreal. Just to see a guy that big to cross up a guy, take a back step, fade away. Like it's just it's so dumb. But
and if he averages 4 blocks, he alters another 6.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And they've got good young players. The Castle kid that was from Connecticut a couple years ago, he's a really good pro. De'Aaron Fox from Kentucky.
Yep.
So they're set for the future, and so is Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Santos got Harper from Rutgers.
Last
year.
Yeah, and he's done really well.
Yeah.
Much better than Ace Bailey, his college teammate, who did okay. Like 12 points a game, something like that. But
I think it was Harper and Cass were the first players. I think it was like either in their first or second year, or maybe just under the age of like 21 to average 25 in a playoff, or to score 25 the same game since like it might have been like Russ and KD or something. It was some weird stat. Like it's been going on and not had a long time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the playoffs the stars are hurt. You got Durant that's been hurt for Houston. The Lakers not only lost Luka, they lost Austin Reeves, who averaged 25 points a game. I mean, between the two of them, they averaged 57 a game. and Luka produced the most points this year in the history of the NBA when you count his assists, and some of them were 3-point assists. But he himself accounted for over 58 points a game.
Goodness.
And yet, LeBron's kind of turned the clock back a little bit here in the playoffs and playing really well. So that's kind of a shocker because I think everybody had the Lakers getting swept without their 2 leading scorers.
Right.
But there's other guys hurt too.
You had a guy for Minnesota, Dante DiVincenzo from formerly Villanova. He tore his Achilles. And if you look at the last 2 years, you had Dante DiVincenzo, you had Tyrese Halliburton, you had Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard all tear their Achilles, and they all wear number 0. Just something that's really bizarre. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday when they announced it. Yeah, because then actually, because of I think in his absence, the big story with Minnesota was Ayo Dosunmu, formerly played for the Bulls and obviously was a star at Illinois, just went off in their game and played really, really, really well on Saturday night.
I think he had, was it 46?
I'm pulling up right now.
43, 46, something like that. Of course, Ant-Man's hurt too now. He hurt his knee, and he's out a few games.
Yeah, Dosunmu had 43 points in 42 minutes, went 5 of 5 from 3, 13 of 17 from the field.
I never considered him a good 3-point shooter in college. He was okay.
Yeah, he was you'd get downhill and could score on you.
Yeah, he got buckets, but I never considered him as a marksman by any means. Who else? Oh, Aaron Gordon for the Denver's been kind of hurting.
Yeah.
Wemby even missed a game. Embiid, they tried to come back, and that one is a disaster. I mean, he put up good numbers, but he couldn't guard anybody. So
Wemby.
There'll probably be more injuries.
Wemby's fall that was a nasty fall. Like when his head quite literally bounced off the floor. I'm not surprised he got a concussion. And he even went down. 'Cause I was watching the game yesterday. He went down briefly for a second where his legs are 6 feet long, so it's not surprising that his legs twist that they do, but his leg twisted really weird, but he ended up being fine. Once he got up, he kind of turned on and stopped.
So it looks like to me it's going to be between Oklahoma City and San Antonio in the West. I thought the Nuggets could compete, but they're down 3-1.
And on the road,
And then you almost have to think Boston's now the prohibitive favorite in the East, now that Tatum's back and seems to be back in groove. So they have so many good shooters.
Yeah, I was watching some of the Cavs-Raptors game yesterday, and obviously Cavs have Harden, which just shows how much I pay attention to the NBA. I totally forgot Harden was even on the Cavs.
But
like with him, Donovan Mitchell, and that kind of scoring punch, they had a big lead late in the fourth and blew it up in Toronto. So that it's now tied 2-2, and they were was Cleveland the 1 seed last year when the Pacers upset them?
They were,
I think it's unfortunately for ESPN, we won't have a Boston Knicks Eastern Conference Finals like they probably won just because of the way they're seeded, but that would definitely draw tons of ratings. But I think definitely Boston's the team out of the East. That's the team to beat.
I agree. Yeah, in Toronto shot 32% yesterday. He said it was the third worst shooting performance in a victory in NBA playoff history. So, or at least maybe not in the early 50s, but let's just say in the modern day NBA.
Yeah.
It's 30 or 40 years. So,
yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kind of sticking with the basketball theme too. I guess I've since the last time the Tanya Jamin show was recorded in the college world, the transfer portal is now officially closed. I'm not sure how much you've paid attention to the players coming and going in and out of the portal. Obviously, our standpoint, Purdue, we were very lucky and really kind of an anomaly in today's world of having 0 scholarship players transfer out. They did lose a walk-on Aaron to Ball State, which I think he'll do really well there. Hopefully he does. It kind of went hot and heavy, and then I think the portal closed last Monday. And I thought you'd still see things go pretty crazy, but I feel like it's really slowed down. I think part of that has to do with this whole 5-and-5 rule, which people who aren't caught up on that, the NCAA is proposing a rule where players have, once they come out of high school, they have 5 years to play. 5 years to play 5 seasons, essentially. So kind of essentially limiting the need for a red shirt. And the thought was if they enact that, they would be grandfathering in a bunch of these guys who just graduated and are out of eligibility, which would just be I mean, it's already chaotic enough, but the fact that you introduce thousands of more players, but just before we start recording it came out that they probably aren't going to do that, which I think is good.
Me too.
As much as I'd like to have Fletcher Lawyer back on Purdue another year, but that won't happen. But yeah, have you been paying attention much to the portal since Purdue's
off and on. Obviously, the schools that people are highest on as far as what they received in the portal were Louisville because they got 2 legitimate college stars, and Texas, I guess, made a good haul.
Yeah,
Indiana obviously got a guys.
Yeah, Texas has essentially turned over their entire starting 5 outside of their big man.
Yeah. Indiana, and you knew Indiana would have a good haul because they literally only have 1 kid coming back.
Yeah, and he wasn't a starter by any means, so it's like
and
had all the money and unlimited starter minutes to offer. So
and they did get some good players. The kid from Alabama they got is going to be a real help, and Marcus Burton, ex Mr. Basketball from played at Notre Dame. They got a kid from Duke, and just because he came from Duke, you assume he's good.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I didn't see Fort much, but he was a top 40 kid in high school, and he came out of high school as a really good shooter, but he has not proven it at Duke. But you wonder if that's just maybe just from a lack of consistent playing time. So obviously he should be, because they haven't really picked up much since outside of their starting 5 from what I into. So you wonder if maybe they were waiting to see what this whole rule was. But I think honestly, a lot of all these teams is a lot of people going to the Europe route for some of these bench guys that, taking a flyer off. I mean, I know Illinois did that last year and for a couple guys and it didn't work out, but that's one team that they're not going to show up on a top portal class. They only got like 1 or 2 guys, but Illinois, the fact that they were able to retain all their guys that they outside of the guys who were going pro and graduating, but they held on to a lot of their core from a Final Four team. So as much as I hate to say it, they're going to be a Final Four heavy favorite going into next year.
I did see that Stojakovic put his name in the NBA draft. With the ability to come back. I doubt if he got drafted, but because he's kind of slight of frame, very good college basketball player. I wouldn't call him an exceptional shooter though, like his dad is an all-time shooter. But he got to the foul line. I mean, he's a good player. And they, of course, the Avicic brothers and Michigan went and got Tennessee starting center.
PJ Estrella, solid player.
USC supposedly loaded up pretty good too.
Yeah, they picked up. Who did they just pick up? Who did they? Oh, they got a kid, the backup center from Connecticut, Eric Raby. Here's his name.
Yeah.
Which I know Purdue recruited a little bit out of high school. And actually, Josh sent a text to our group chat. Speaking of college and the pros, where it says the NIL era is flipping the NBA draft on its head. Only 71 players entered the 2026 NBA draft per the NBA, down from 106 last year and a peak of 263 in 2021.
Yeah.
So
I heard on Sirius today when I was driving somewhere, and they were talking about the NIL and the effects it has on these 18 to 22-year-old kids. And the guy made a great point. He said some of these kids will make more money as 20-year-olds than they will when they're 30, 35, 40, well into their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a difficult thing for kids to make this much money when once they're out, we always think, well, they can save it and all this stuff, but this might be their highest earning potentials of their entire lives is when before they really know what they're getting.
Yeah.
So
there was the who was the Notre Dame's quarterback who's on the Colts now.
Riley Leonard.
He had the comment where he was making more at Notre Dame last year than he was, or 2 years ago, I guess, than he was for the Colts this last year.
Right.
Which is, it's true. You're hearing some of the numbers that are being thrown out, especially for big men. I think it's just funny to see the market kind of react to whatever's going on. Like obviously Michigan wins with playing with a big lineup, and then everybody's trying to go out and recreate exactly what Michigan did. Which is like putting premiums on big guys where you're seeing, guys who were just really average, maybe average 10 points a game, and maybe a crappy conference, and you're hearing, which who knows if it's even true, but you're hearing offers of $4 or $5 million for a guy who was probably a backup on your team last year if he was on that same roster.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. And how do you tell your players, guys that maybe have been on your program 2 years, 3 years, going into their fourth year, that they're going to make this much money, and you're going to bring somebody in that's going to make 3 times as much money when you're supposedly building a culture.
Yeah, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these schools that are doing the total rebuilds year in, year out, just because I think Texas is a great example. And we saw a kid in where they had guys, and if they want to come back, they're probably going to make a certain amount, but then they're bringing in these guys and probably paying them a lot more, which is why you see guys like Cam Heide transfer again, ending up at South Carolina. It's tough. I think it's probably the reason why I'm guessing Painter hasn't delved into those waters as much as other coaches, is probably because it's that probably exactly what you said. If he promised these guys who have stuck with him to, he wants to honor their commitment, but it's tough to do that when you're overpaying a guy, same position, who hasn't even played a second.
Yeah, and it's hard to over recruit on kids that have been waiting patiently for their chance.
Yeah,
and, Purdue's a great example. We don't know what they're going to be next year. Everybody's going to have a much bigger role than they had, and some might excel at it, and maybe they won't. But you can't just pigeonhole that Jakari Harris is always going to be a 5-point guy,
right?
With 35 minutes a game, maybe he's a 15-point guy,
right,
and play great defense. So
and I think that's part of the reason why Purdue had the retention they did, is because you're losing 4 starters, and CJ Cox is an returning starter, so it's like there's the unknown of hey, this is, outside of probably Omar Myers, your starting point guard, there's really no guaranteed spots there. So it's a lot of hey, might as well come back and try and do it. Versus some of these other schools that have more defined things. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, you see the guys on the message boards, they're saying we need to go out and just recruit a whole new team every single year, because that's the way you're going to win a championship. But then those are the same guys who were, so thankful in February that this team stuck around because they had to win or whatever. So it's interesting. I think there's no right or wrong way to do it right now, because I think we're seeing, UConn was a good example. They were a team that, a couple years ago, they built their team from high school recruiting and, placed a couple of transfers here and there, like Cam Spencer. But then obviously you had Michigan this year, who their whole starting 5 essentially was a new team. So I think it obviously comes down to coaching. We've seen all these, we saw it with Kentucky and Louisville this last year, where it's they spent the most money and $22 million rosters, and they were, Final 4 picks. And then they kind of had, by their standards, not great years for one reason or another.
You're right. In a backward way, this could help Purdue too. They have one of their best recruiting classes under Painter, supposedly coming in now
on paper.
And they think on paper, even next year, could be crazy, because a lot of these big majors that we always had to compete with are no longer going after high school kids.
Yeah, until maybe the last second.
Right. So it's pure retention. Then if you get them and they're not quite ready, you get the number 38 kid. He's got potential.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out how to keep them.
Yeah. We talk about the draft. The deadline to withdraw for guys who, like a Stojakovic and some of these other guys. There's a kid from Iowa State who's going to the portal, but also going to the draft, which I can't imagine he doesn't get drafted as a guy with his size and who's an elite shooter. I don't know how you don't find a spot, but he also could probably make $8 million at Kentucky or Florida next year. But the deadline to withdraw is May 27th. But the interesting deadline is June 13th, which is for international prospects, which I didn't think would be a note that I would even make 2 years ago. But with the way that we're having all these international guys now come to college basketball, whether they're 18 or now even 22, 23-year-olds, it's interesting to kind of see, because, the portal's closed, guys can still commit and all that. But just kind of, it's the recruiting will go well into the summer, as we saw as Purdue fans last year with the addition of Omar Meyer late in the year. And but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And that, Illinois was probably one of the leaders in grabbing that foreign talent.
Oh yeah.
And I just saw today, I can't think where he went. His brother's all-star forward for the Utah Jazz, Laurie. I can't pronounce it. Yeah, his brother just signed with somebody today.
Is that his brother?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, the kid he's going to Arkansas.
Yeah, so
yeah, he is.
Arkansas's now got the number 1 ranked recruiting class in America. So that's Calipari too. I mean, love him or hate him, he's always going to get players.
Yeah, that was a kid who he played high school basketball in Arizona, and then he went to Finland and played professionally. But yeah, he is 6'10", can shoot it. I suppose there's talks of him being kind of a bit of a head case, but that was also when he was in high school, which high school kid isn't, especially when you're at the level that those guys are at.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was one that they thought he might go into the draft, but but if he went to college, he was going to make a lot of money. And I saw that. I think Arkansas is the only school he really truly visited, because he couldn't visit when he was overseas. But yeah, I watched a little bit of him just from his tape, and then I watched him at the Nike Pro Summit, whatever that was, a couple weekends ago, and he's the real deal.
Yeah. So who knows? Like the Wagler kid that played for Illinois last year, who knew he was going to be what he was, right? So,
yeah, it came out of nowhere, and
right. So there'll be some of those guys too. So
yeah. And moving on, we obviously have baseball season's going hot and heavy. I'm not sure how much you've watched. I have not been paying attention to much, but I did make another call to the bullpen to our good friend of the show, Aaron Lynch, on his thoughts on the White Sox.
Yeah. Well, they got the kid tied for the lead in home runs.
Yeah, he is incredible. It's home run or strikeout.
Yeah.
But it's he's been definitely the highlight of the season, for whatever you can call that, because it's been a pretty pitiful season so far. But
well, the things I wrote down about baseball is the Braves are already 6.5 games up in their division, which is crazy this early. Yeah. All 5 NL Central teams are above 500 at this point. Mm-hmm. That's not going to last.
No. Well, there was a stat. It was last week, but there was more NL Central teams above 500, which were all of them, than there were AL teams above 500. Period. At one point last week. So
yeah, and then the Phillies, Mets, Astros, and Blue Jays are all off to horrible starts.
Yeah,
and the Blue Jays were 1 out away from winning the World Series last year. So, and then the Sacramento A's, Oakland A's, Las Vegas A's, they're winning their division.
Wow. Yeah.
Which I think Tanner predicted on the Tan and J-Man show for some stupid reason, but he ought to put a picture of it right now. But I think they're winning at like 15-13.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're dominating, but
yeah.
But
big thing for the White Sox is I guess the thing that's interesting right now is they did bring up the Schultz kid, the pitcher. He's 6'10". Oh
yeah, I saw that.
So obviously he's getting all the Randy Johnson comps just because of his size. Schultz, he had 8 strikeouts in his second start. It was a no decision. This is from Aaron Lynch, so I'm stealing his words specifically. But he said he's probably gonna pass Chris Sale and Crochet this week in most strikeouts in his first 3 starts, which would be 21. He's 6'10" lefty. Yeah, he was their top pitching prospect. And he got called up about 2 weeks ago. So it's been the talk of the South Side.
Well, they're obviously much better than they were last year, and they were way better last year than they were the year before. So
yeah,
they're coming.
Yeah. Which also noticed that the outfield is the worst, and probably the worst in modern day baseball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, I there's a couple players I'm a Mike Trout fan. I see he has 9 homers, but he's only hitting 230. He was so good a few years ago, and injuries have kind of derailed him.
Yeah.
And I do follow the Cubs. and I know
they've been hot. They've been hot,
but they've lost the last two, and they had to go to the Dodgers. Now they got to go to the Padres, and they're down a bunch of pitching, so they just kind of got to stay in the hunt for a while. Yeah.
I saw a tweet. I didn't look at it too much, but it was a graphic of all their pitchers that were on the DL, and it was or on the injured list, and it was a lengthy list.
Yeah, so they start out with a pretty easy schedule, but I thought the Mets and Phillies would be tough series, and they're both they're 9-19.
Yeah,
both teams. So hard telling. It's still early.
Yeah, super early. Yeah,
big market teams will make their push for a player here. I always say wait to the first 100 games, and if you're like 55 and 45, you go for it. And if you're 45 and 55, you sell.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. One thing we need to still make sure we do, I know the Tanner always says want to get educated. So I do have the on this day. Pull that up here. All right. On this day in sports history for April 27th. In 1903, first Highlander, which is Yankee shutout, Philadelphia A's win 6-0 back in the day.
There you go.
I'm trying to see what's 1929 Ryder Cup. Great Britain defeats the U.S. 7-5 in bitterly cold and snowy conditions. Can't imagine golfing in those conditions in 1929.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Let's see here. Some cricket for the J-Man. A lot of cricket. There's a lot of cricket on here. 1996 Romanian gymnast and five-time Olympic gold medalist Nadia. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name.
Comaneci.
Yes. Weds American gymnast Bart Connor in Bucharest, Romania.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
She was big in the 70s.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Yeah, not 1930 White Sox first baseman Bud Clancy didn't handle the ball at all in nine inning game versus St. Louis Browns. Yeah, there's not a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Slow day in April.
Yeah.
Was it 1920? Sweden takes the first figure skating double at the Antwerp Olympics when Gillis Goffstrom wins his first of three consecutive men's gold medals. Magda Julin earlier wins the women's singles event. Talk of the town back then.
you know, it's a tough month when you're going figure skating and cricket.
I realize Olympics happened this early and Summer Olympics happened this early back then, but you got to do what you got to do back then.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to cover?
Well, I have I forget what the segment's called, but you list blind
rankings. Yes,
blind rankings. Okay, I have put down 5 coaches of different sports down, and I thought you could rank them in likability factor.
Okay.
For Evan Webb. It's going to start with Brian Kelly.
Man.
One being the most one being the one you least like the most. 5 being the one that's you at least acceptable. Yeah.
Oh, man. I obviously don't know who this is, but I have a hard time not putting Brian Kelly number 1.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Obviously, when he went to LSU, he was out of my life a little more
than
normal. But the fact that he was just at Notre Dame for as long as he was, and obviously, Purdue played them for a while, but just being in Indiana, having to always hear about them and just seeing his antics, and then obviously once he left, Notre Dame fans kind of wised up to what of a jerk he really was. I think I'm going to put him at number 1 just because also just like, it's one thing, just, I'll hate coaches for, if they just beat my team repeatedly, which is one thing, but when you're just a jerk off the field or court, that kind of takes you to a whole nother level. And that's definitely Brian Kelly for me. So I think I'm going to put him at 1.
Okay. Kurt Signetti.
Gosh dang. This is a guy who is a good example of that. Obviously he's only 2 years in. But man, he's made my life miserable for 2 years.
Yes, he has.
But it's like, and I was kind of thinking about this. I don't know if I talked about it on the world famous Boiler Breakdown podcast or not. Where it's like and it's just maybe just the way the portal has gone, but it's like outside of just the uniform, I didn't hate that team just because
I know, I agree.
It's as what's the old Seinfeld joke? You're cheering for laundry. So at that point, I was just hating the laundry that they're
wearing. Right.
But I mean, like they weren't jerks, and also they were only there for a year or two, so it's not like you got to grow and hate them like you could previous years. But yeah, it still was miserable. I'll put him at 3. Hate him, but it's there's a lot of respect there though.
He's absolutely a fantastic coach, and I thought he was a huge jerk the first year, and then this year I didn't think he was. I thought he ran it up on people last year. I mean, they were playing the bucket game, and Purdue had kids quitting all over the place, and Ryan Walters, and he ran a
in the snow.
fake punt up 49-0.
Yeah,
and I thought, what a jerk! But this year I didn't think he was near that bad, and he just had a great team.
Yeah, I think part of it. I don't know. He may even said it too, like where it's like part of it. He was just trying to just light a fire into the fan base of like you can be that. And went to, obviously then they did let their playing do the talking this year.
Yeah,
last year I guess.
And I mean, they had nearly a full house at their spring game. I mean, who does that outside of Tennessee and Alabama? And that's ridiculous.
Maybe, yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, how about Bill Belichick?
I didn't hate him as much as other people did.
Yeah.
Mostly because I wasn't a Colts fan, so I enjoyed me being the jerk that I am. Enjoyed seeing Colts fans mad at whenever they won. But do I hate him more than Cignetti? I think I do. So I think I have to put him at 2, which is I think I really screwed up this list.
All right. How about Dan Hurley?
That's one that like prior to I don't know what it was, maybe just because I was cheering for him against Illinois. Sorry, Jalen. Where he would have been a lot higher. But he's just he's a really good coach. I like how he actually runs his program. The fact that he's what in terms of his program love for Purdue to get to, obviously 2 national championships would be incredible, but just from retaining guys, getting good talent and kind of plugging and play with your transfers as you need to. So I'll put him at 4.
Okay. Well, he's obvious. He's in a way, he's like Cignetti. You just have to salute him because they obviously.
I've seen a lot of comps to like even like a Bobby Knight, especially from the emotional outrage he has at certain things. But
he acts terrible on the court.
Times. Yeah.
But he obviously is a great basketball coach.
Yeah.
And then I'll finish it up with you probably would put him at 5 anyway. Tom Izzo.
Yeah. Yeah, I might put him a little higher, maybe, just because of there's just with the issues with this program over the years, which he's been there for so long. It's hard to he's got a lot of baggage with this program, but at the same time, there's that respect there if he's just a really great coach and by all means does things above board for the most part. We'll see. Remains to be seen, but yeah, it's hard to argue his legacy in college basketball.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets pushed under the rug on Izzo. All the different kids have been accused of things and
domestic violence and whatnot.
I will say, the same Michigan State team in 2000. If you hadn't seen college basketball in 25 years and then you saw them play this year, they play the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they rebound the heck out of the ball. They don't shoot all that great, but they rebound the heck out of the ball. And, if the other team does score, they throw it and they get it down there in about 1.2 seconds. And they always have a good point guard, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So, and they have big men that are 6'9" and just built Xavier Tillman and
yeah,
Brendan Dawson.
Rebound.
I mean, you can name the same guy every year.
Yeah.
So
can rebound the ball. It's physical. Yeah, it's
and Izzo's over there whining.
Yep. Getting the call. Yep. Obviously,
Yeah.
Working the refs, getting the calls. Yep. That was good. That was a really good list. I'm not sure if I honestly I'm trying to think. I might move Hurley above Signetti just because of he's been around longer, so I can hate him a little more. But also just because of where Signetti coaches. That was a good list. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd re-rank or not. But I definitely know Kelly's definitely number one.
I also consider putting Brad Underwood in for the J-Man factor.
Oof, yeah,
but
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and Charlie Weiss. So I had some other names.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I had this conversation with one of my sales reps just like 2 weeks ago. He was like, "So what coaches do you like?" Because I was just going off on all these coaches, but that was a good list. I actually did have another note. This is in the realm where the Tan J-Man never talk about. I know you're super locked into English Premier League soccer, right?
Oh, who isn't? Yeah.
Are you at all aware of what's going on with the Tottenham Hotspurs?
I am not.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, and you're aware with like European soccer, like relegation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, every year the bottom 3 teams in any division get relegated to the league below, and the top 3 of the one below get moved up. Of course, it's my team, Tottenham. They're based in London, so they're one of the biggest teams, one of the biggest markets. They have the 3rd biggest stadium in all of the Premier League. They are currently, if the season ended today, they have 4 games left. They would be relegated for the first time ever. They've never won the Premier League, which has been around since like 92. But it got me thinking, like, what team, like NFL team, like for the fact that just given their size, their marketability, they're usually always kind of in the hunt. They've never won the Premier League, but they're always kind of usually in that top half. But they're on the verge of being relegated, and it'd be massively embarrassing for the team to really with that much money. And I was thinking, I honestly thought, like, given when the Premier League started, like in the 90s, like you could easily say, I was like, the Chicago Bears would be one. Haven't won anything since then. Huge market, but have been close a couple times to either in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, but have never gotten it done. I was trying to make that comparative, and I think that's who I landed on was the Bears.
I can see that. Maybe Dallas Cowboys, not quite as big a market, but my goodness, they haven't done squat in 35 years. So
so if you like seeing teams squirm, tune into it because they've got like 4 games left, and they're as of right now they are on the verge of relegation, which is like wild. Considering their stadium holds like 62,000 people, that place will be empty next year if that's the case.
Well, I almost gave you for a ranking list sporting achievements of Tan and J-Man both, but I couldn't come up with one.
Well, perfect. Well, before we get out of here, we got a couple minutes. So we'll make sure we hit the ad reads. Let the Tan J-Man Show pay some bills. Forgot to mention, Tan J-Man Show is also brought to you by Proformer Print 2 Promo Group. With over 50 years of combined experience in promotional products and commercial print, strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. And you look no further. Let them be your one source print and promotional company, and call Barbara Van Weinsberg at 574-210-3815 or email barbara.vanweinsberg@proformer.com. We also have Blue River Digital is a full-service marketing agency that helps businesses simplify marketing and grow with intention. Their focus is systems, strategies, and long-term results, not hype or one-off tactics. They offer digital marketing, website development, graphic design, printing and direct mail, signature and vehicle graphics, corporate apparel and promotional items, and AI and automations. Work with small, medium, and large businesses spanning across the United States with a strong presence in Northern Indiana. Talk to them today at 260-248-2749 and see how they can help you with your digital marketing. And then last but not least, we didn't do a J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, so J-Man's not here. But that's brought to you by Travis Watering. Insurance multi-line agent for Indiana Farmer Insurance, specializing in home, auto, life, and renters insurance. Call Travis at 219-869-4561.
And I don't know if you have it, but Thad Mooney.
I do not. Yeah, I don't have Thad's.
Mooney Woodcrafting.
Yep.
I'll make sure Tanner double mentions that next week. But he's got a lot of neat things if you need for Father's Day coming up or
Yeah,
something.
He always chimes in too on whether it's Tan James Show or the Broiler Breakdown, so we appreciate that and all his support. Well, we did it, Eric. We made it the full hour.
We did.
Appreciate you helping me out today. I said, no, it's a tough time of year. I'm not sure how Tan and J-Man always do it week in and week out. But I hope to have them back next week. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe on all platforms. And they will be back next week. And Eric, appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Evan.